Do you want to move abroad, but your number one question is, where would I even move to? I'm here with 5 questions to ask yourself as you get ready to plan your move abroad. Exodus Summit is coming up October 11th through 14th to make sure the Black women in our community have move abroad plans that are coherent and cohesive. All right, now, the first question I want you to ask yourself when you're considering moving abroad is a low cost of living one of the most important factors for me? The cost of living in the place you're going to go can differ greatly around the world, and it is one of the factors that people put first in their decision, but it doesn't necessarily need to be first. The way I like to think of it is kind of think of cost of living in like bands. Like, what would be a really expensive cost of living for you that would make your move abroad not happen, right? And have like if it's more than X amount of dollars, we're not moving there. And then under that amount, maybe consider some places that you could move to but would be a struggle financially. At least write them down, at least know what that number is. What is the number for you per month that would make a location manageable but a bit of a stretch? And then get to your lowest band of places that this would be the easiest move. I could definitely afford this. It might cost less than I'm spending right now. These are places that cost less than this per month are places that I really want to consider. Make sure you know what your numbers are, and that'll help you on your move in a big way. The next question I want you to ask yourself when you're considering your move abroad plan is, how close to home do I need to be? So if you are in, say right now, you live in the US, how far away from the US can you move? And what are the reasons you're limited to that move? A lot of people I know start off by saying they have to move somewhere super close to the US because they need to visit people or they need people to visit them. And then within a year or two, they're much further away because they're finally going to the place they actually want to go. And the visiting matters less because wherever you are in the world, you know, people tend to find their way home when they want to. And the people who want to visit you will visit you no matter where you are in the world. So think about how close you need to be and the reason you need to be there. And then ask yourself if that's a real reason or whether you could expand your borders a little bit farther. The next question I want you to ask yourself is, how long of a move do you want to make? For some people, when they move abroad, they want to move forever. Well, forever's nice, but you need to be able to move to a place that will allow you to be there forever, or be prepared to pick up and move around when your existing visas require you to. So, do you want to be gone for a year, or do you want to be gone just for, say, 6 months? Do you want to be gone for 6 years, or do you want to be gone forever? Think about that when you're considering your move. Number 4 on your list is really, for me, honestly, it's the number one question I ask myself when I'm considering a city, whether I think I'd like it there long term. I love a walkable city. I love a walkable city. Things are so much easier to do, to maneuver around, to get around in a city that is walkable, at least for me. And walkable for me just isn't how close are things, are there grocery stores in my neighborhood. It also means for me, how good are the walking areas. You know, you go to some countries around the world and the sidewalks are hot garbage, right? If you have any kind of mobility issues, you're going to have a hard time. Walkable for me also means the weather. If it's too cold or too hot, I shan't be walking anywhere, right? And so I factor that into my question of whether a city is walkable. Now, this might not matter for you, but a lot of times when you move abroad, driving is harder and transportation costs can add up very quickly. So that's why I kind of want you to consider this, even if it isn't a top consideration for you. Next on my list, are you ready to learn a new language? Some people aren't. Fortunately, there are quite a few places around the world that even if English isn't their local language, and if you're watching this video, you probably speak English, but even if English isn't the local language in the place you're going to, there is enough tourism or business with the Western world that English is widely spoken. There are quite a few places like that. And so if you have no interest in learning a foreign language, I would recommend that you find one of those places. All right, now I've got a bonus question for you. The bonus question for you to consider when you're thinking about moving abroad relates back to the question of how long can you be in a place? And that bonus question is, how much work, how much time, and how much money are you willing to invest to live in a place if you have decided you want to live there? There are quite a few places around the world where you can stay longer than the average person can stay if you invest in the local economy in some way, whether that's putting money in a bank account, like a checking or savings account, whether that is buying real estate or something else like that. There are quite a few places like that. And while that may not be what you had in mind before you move abroad, for a lot of people who are moving, if you're selling a house, you may have some money you don't know what to do with, right? So that's something that you could use to your advantage. But wait, there's more. I told you to consider those questions when you are thinking about what cities you want to move to. And you may have had answers in your head to those questions, but I didn't really tell you now what to do with those answers. What to do is to go to exodussummit.com/quiz, and you'll see a quiz there that will help you with those questions and more, using your answers, help you narrow down some cities around the world that might be great places for you to move to. So when you're considering your move, even if you don't know where you want to move to, I definitely recommend the Exodus Summit quiz so you can figure out maybe a starting point in your cities. And if you're like, I already know where I want to go to, or I like this quiz, I want to know more, come to Exodus Summit this year. It is October 11th through 14th. As I said, replays will be available online. So even if you're watching this after October 14th, the replays are available for sale at exodussummit.com. And we have so many speakers coming to you this year to give you the tips and the tools that you need to get your move abroad in the right position, to come up with a plan, and to come up with community, a community full of Black women who want to help you move abroad too, because it's what they want, and they know it's going to improve their life, and they want you to do it if it's what you want to do. So come on down and join us at Exodus Summit, exodussummit.com. Get your ticket to Exodus Summit 2024, and I will see you there live on October 11th. Bye.